Hi, my name is Sean Grace and welcome back to Grace and Antiques. Today we're going to have a quick little chat about silver and pewter and a little bit of silver plate. Okay, now as we're discussing silver, you see I'm wearing gloves. Okay, the reason for this is that the oil from the human hand can tarnish silver very badly. So it's better just to wear gloves or just some kind of a little cloth, will do just as well. Now on the table here in front of us, there's a selection of items as you can see. Okay, now if you have any questions about any item in particular, please feel free to leave your question in the comment section below or leave a comment about what is going on here today. Okay, now so we'll start. We have continental silver, European silver, okay, some English silver, some Oriental silver, Mexican silver, American silver here, these, okay, and these are Canadian, okay. So I'll get straight into it, and just before I do, there's a couple of things. If you're going to be, again, we go back to what I always keep saying, don't go by the other man's judgment, okay. Learn, research what your topic, like your subject. If you're interested in silver, research it. There is a mountain of stuff out there on the internet about silver, and there's all sorts of sites about hallmarks and everything else, but a few little handy things to have, you know what I mean? Like a loupe is the thing you see a jeweler using to look at jewellery and so on, like with their eye. I actually prefer a little magnifying glass, okay, myself personally, so that's what I use, and I'll give you another little trick in a second now. And also a little book on hallmarks, okay, which is a lovely thing to just have it. If you're going out for the day and you think you're going to be going somewhere, stick them in your pocket and there's no rush. Now another thing, a little measuring tape, because I want to just quickly, there's a big difference between somebody telling you that something is 4 inches and it turning out to be 3 inches or 6 inches, and telling you it's 9 and it turns out it's 8 and so on, because especially when it comes to silver, the size and everything else is very important, and it makes a big difference to the value. So if you're looking up something and the candlesticks that you're looking to buy are 6 inches high and the ones you're looking at on the internet are 12 inches high, you can't just divide the price in two. That's not the way it works, you know what I mean? And you can research all that yourself and look into it a bit more, okay? Now what I actually find is better altogether, is that if I come across a piece and I'm not sure about it or whatever, what I do is I simply take out my phone, photograph the hallmarks, and then step aside where I can enlarge the photograph. I can get a better look. You can see what way that the hallmarks are and so on, right? Now what are hallmarks? Hallmarks are a guarantee of quality, to mismark or to interfere with hallmarks or to interfere with silver in England and Ireland and Scotland and so on, and anywhere that there's a hallmarking system in the world, is a very, very serious offence, carrying big penalties for doing it. So I'm not going to bore you with all that, okay? And another handy one, okay? Just say I'm looking at this on here, there's a set of hallmarks here on this, right? And I can't see them. A very handy tip, just go, right? And the hallmarks actually stand out much clearer once you do that, okay? That's just a little handy tip, all right? Now, so we won't, and that's enough about all of that, okay? So we'll start off and we'll start at the bottom, so to speak, right? You'll hear people saying about pewter, that pewter is, oh goodness, it's only a soft metal, it's this, it's that, it's the other. Again, you can look up on the internet to tell you all about pewter, what it's made from and so on. So it's only for me to bore you with it, okay? This here is a little hip flask, okay? And I hope you can see the design on it there now in the video, okay? Now, it's not much, just a little hip flask, blah, blah, blah. I bought this for $5. That's what I paid for it, okay? $5. Now, so you say, pewter hip flask, not really much good, except Charles René Mackintosh is the designer of this, not necessarily the maker. He didn't necessarily make things, but he's the designer of it. And look up Charles René Mackintosh and you'll see that he's quite the famous designer, okay? And again, I'm not going to go into too much detail about them because you can look it up and see. So, as I say, don't go by the other person's judgment. Like, look yourself. If you think something, if you say, like when I saw this, I thought, God, that looks nice. Like, I didn't see the back of it, and I thought, reminds me of something. Like, I had obviously seen Charles Winnie Macintosh designs for it. He does high back chairs and does all sorts of stuff that he designed, you know. So do your own research, look into it, and be sure of it, right? Now, so that's that. So then we go to silver plate, okay? And very quickly now, I won't delay. So here we have a couple of weighted bud vases, okay? These are extremely heavy on the bottom, like, really heavy, and you say, why is that? Like, you know, and they're a bit sort of big and what have you. Now these two are the same but different, so to speak. There's a slight difference there in the top of them, okay? This one has a wavy edge, this one has a flat edge. There would have only been one of each of these because these are actually from a railway, okay? And these are from CPR, Canada Pacific Railway. That's what sets these apart, okay? So just as a pair of silver plates and bud vases, they're worth little or nothing, like, okay? And in actual fact, I'm saying pair, they're not a pair, they're a matched pair, so to speak, you know what I mean? They're too similar, like, all right? But individually, they are worth maybe $120 to $150 each, okay? Is what they are, and you know, only because of the CPR, which is here. And I'll put some pictures at the end of these. I'll take some stills, and I'll put up some pictures at the end of this video, okay? Then we move on to the American silver, all right? Now, obviously, salt and pepper shakers there. This is a little set of 4 salts, okay? Made by a company down in the States, and the company was actually in operation from 1876 until 1910, okay? And so we know that these are late Victorian, that's what they are, right? An extremely pretty little set of salts, okay? And beautiful the things, they've gilt on the inside because salt erodes silver. Again, like, look up the marks that are on it, and away you go, and it'll tell you, you know what I mean, you can research all that, like, just look at it, take a photograph, look it up. These again are silver ones. Dushan are the makers of these ones, okay? Now these are mass produced, like, and again, not expensive, like, the pair of those, you know what I mean, like, you're going to buy them kind of somewhere, like, kind of up to maybe $60 or so. You know, I'm speaking in dollars because I'm here in Canada. Like, that's why I'm speaking in Canadian dollars. Okay, so that's those American bits of silver there. Okay, like, you know, these are and were made in Canada, and you know, because Canadian Pacific Railway. Okay, so then we move on. Then here's Burke's of Canada, like, okay, here in Vancouver, and these are silver candlesticks. Okay, sterling silver, and again, like, mass produced candlesticks, you're not going to pay very much from, like, the pair of these, like, you know what I mean, in your average antique shop or whatever, like, you probably pay 60, 80 maybe for the pair of those, okay? Go into a fancy antique shop and you're going to pay 100, 150 for them. So, you know, and again, like, look at the marks, look it up, research it, and no problem there, you know? So then we move on to a little bit of Mexican silver, right? Now, we bought this in a charity shop. We actually bought it in a hospice charity shop, like we did, and we wanted to support the hospice, like, because they're very good to people all over the whole world, you know? So, we bought this. Now, it's actually quite heavy, and the weight of silver is sold, bought and sold in ounces, right? But when you hear them speak about an ounce, it's not the same ounce as when you're doing your bacon, like, you know, it's a troy ounce, like, and a troy ounce has 31.35 grams in it, where your ordinary ounce has 28.3 or something like that, you know, whatever it is, like, there's a difference anyway. So you won't, if you weigh it at home and then you go to weigh it, they're weighing it in troy ounces, you may have weighed it in ordinary ounces, so there'll be a difference. You'll be getting less in effect, is what you will. I mean, silver doesn't have great intrinsic value weight-wise, you know, but this, quite heavy now. I'm talking like maybe half a pound of silver or so in this, okay? And we don't know what this is. We've researched it, we cannot find out. Is it a candle holder? Was it an inkwell? Is there an insert missing out of it? We don't know. There's no lid, it doesn't come off, it's not weighted, it's completely silver and so on, but we don't know what it is. But again, this has a full set of Mexican hallmarks on the bottom of it. Again, I'll put up some stills. Can be researched. They have their own system of doing it, which is a little bit complicated, but Just do your bit of research, Google it, work away, and that's part of the enjoyment, okay? So that's that, okay? This is a little piece of Oriental silver here. Again, hallmarked on the bottom with Oriental hallmarks. I know nothing about it, like, it's a very pretty little thing, but not great quality, and absolutely no weight. I mean, goodness me, like, you know, really light, like, so, you know, very light gauge silver that's used in that, all right? So then we move on to English, and we'll do the continental stuff first, okay? This is an Austro-Hungarian plate, okay, that we bought. Now, when I say don't go by the other man's judgment, here in Canada, you have some very large charity shops, you know, and they actually employ people to go through absolutely everything that comes in the door, you know, and to price it, like, so they check everything and whatever, and then they lay stuff out. Now, if they find something that they deem to be silver, like, it goes into the special cabinet, you know, and it might even be for silent auction and so on, you know, and you will on occasion see some stuff that's quite good in some of those cabinets, but the way it works is you have to make a bid and you don't know, and then they'll contact, it's all, and you're not allowed to take the thing out and look at it, like, so you're going by another man's judgment, which I just don't. I will not go. I don't care who the other person is. I don't care what sort of an expert he thinks he is. I'm not going by anybody else's judgment. I want to see it, I want to handle it, I want to look at it, and I want to do my own research, you know. So we seldom, if ever, get involved in those silent auctions, okay? This particular one went into a charity shop. Now, they don't lay out stuff on the shelves, and there isn't a silver section, because, as I say, if they think it's silver, it's put in. But what they do have is a silver plate section, and all the stuff will all be on the one shelf. You will find the odd bits scattered around, you know. So I came on a shelf, and here it was a number of plates and trays and things. We all know what we see in silver plate when we go into places, like, you know, some places are full of the stuff, like, and, you know, and to be honest, like, unless it's very good quality silver plate, it doesn't have great value, you know. So I'm looking through, and immediately that I saw this, I thought it was very dirty, like, I sort of thought to myself, so I took a second look, and as soon as I picked it up and felt it, like, silver has its own feel to it. Like, I mean, I know I have gloves on now and I can't feel, but when you know what I mean, like, when you handle it, like, you can feel silver, like, I mean, it has a sort of a soft touch to it. Plus, silver has a smell. There's a kind of a nasty kind of a smell of silver and so on, like, you know. So I had a look at this, and you know what I mean, I could just see, got out my little spyglass, like, had a little look, saw what I thought were hallmarks and so on, and went to the counter with this and paid the princely sum of $3 for that, okay? Now, solid silver, I think it's some sort of a little dish, like a little lamb's dish maybe, or some sort of kind of a little serving tray, maybe for calling cards in the day or something, or maybe a plate out of a dinner service. I don't know, I doubt, you know what I mean? But whatever it is, it's a beautiful thing. Now, it had suffered from a little bit of over cleaning before we got it, so, you know what I mean, it's not in great order. But for $3, where are you going, you know? Now, we come on to English silver, okay? Now, there's Birmingham, this one, made in Birmingham. Now, when I said this one, like, a little cut glass, little perfume bottle, little scent bottle, okay? The lid unscrews, and it's fully hallmarked here around the rim. You need to look very carefully on these because they're small and what have you, okay? Bacon cartouche on the top, very important. If you're buying silver items, like, look closely to see is there a cartouche, like, you know, and a shield shape or whatever, like, and if there's initials on it or some kind of presentation inscription or something, like, it really does diminish the value, you know. But a beautiful little bottle, like, made in Birmingham, right? Now, that would have a value of, again, like, kind of $40-50, whatever. Now, the next little one you see, you step up, this now is London silver. This has an anchor, that's what makes it Birmingham, okay? This one has a leopard's head stamped into it. Leopard's head is London. Again, I'm not going to bore you about hallmarks and so on, because you can research it, like, you simply look up in your little book and it'll tell you where it was made, right? Again, this has a vacant cartouche, I don't know if you can see it there, and this and what have you, and there's this full set of hallmarks again, okay, on this, and it's cut glass and beautifully made, and a big difference in quality between this one and this one, right? This one you could be paying anywhere from 80 to 120 for that one, like, okay? And then you move on to this little one, okay, which is a little quiche, or a little two-handled silver bowl. That's what I would call it, okay? The hallmarks of this tell me that it was made in Birmingham in 1952, okay? And what have you. Now, that's the hallmarks here. But interestingly, on the bottom here, MacArthur and Company, Hong Kong. So this little piece was made in Birmingham, exported to Hong Kong, retailed by MacArthur and Company in Hong Kong, then made its way back here to Canada, back to Vancouver, and we bought it, okay? We bought that at an estate sale, okay? And again, don't go by the other man's judgment. Do your research, look up. That makes that little bit more interesting, like that it has a little bit of history and a little bit of provenance there about where it has been and so on. Okay, now there's one piece here on the table that I haven't spoken about yet, and we mentioned English silver, okay? Now, so that brings us to this piece here, okay? And I'm going to show it to you now, and in some little bit of detail there, like if you can get a proper look at that, okay? And it has some lovely decoration here on the inside, like, you know, bright cut decoration and so on. Like very nice, very, very nice piece of piercing, like, and cast legs on it there and so on. And it's assembled. There are 3 wing nuts here, okay? And it's all solid silver, actually all individually marked, okay? And a nut here, which is affixed. And this little center piece here unscrews and comes out of it. Is what it does, okay? A little bowl, all right? So that comes out, all right? And this little individual piece here, all hallmarked again, very precisely and very crisp hallmarks on it, okay? Now I'm going to tell you the story of this little piece, okay? We saw this advertised. A lady had been left some stuff by her elderly aunt, and she had this and she didn't want it, right? So she advertised it as a silver salt, okay? 1900, sterling silver salt, 1900, that's what it was. So we were looking at the ad, and I said to Susan, you know, I said, like, I don't think that's a salt. Now, photographs can be very deceptive. When we saw these photographed, like, they actually looked quite large. They looked as if they were, you know what I mean, like, bigger than what they are, okay? But they're beautiful, like, their little size is fabulous. When this was advertised, the photographs, there was nothing to judge against. And it looked as if this, you know what I mean, was much smaller than what it was, you know. So we rang the lady anyway, or sorry, messaged the lady as we had to, like, you know, and on Facebook Messenger. And she said she had someone coming the following day, that there was some dealer, some silver dealer coming up from Seattle in the United States the following day, that he wanted to come, but that he wanted to know, she didn't know what time she'd be available, and he didn't know what time he'd be up at. So I asked, like, it's in the message, I said, can we come now, you know? And she said, oh goodness, like, it was late, because this was 10 o'clock we started our messaging, like 10 o'clock at night, you know? Kind of when, but it had only been advertised, like, for like maybe 2 hours at that stage, you know? So she messaged back and said we could, but we'd have to come now, like, right immediately, because she'd be going to work the following day, and you know what I mean, and so on. And then the other fellow was talking about coming up from Seattle. So away with us, went to the house, walked in, she had it left on the kitchen worktop. We went in immediately that we walked into her apartment, like, I mean, I knew, like, this is not a salt, like, whatever else it is, it ain't no salt, like, you know. I mean, obviously a big lump of silver here, like, this actually weighs a pound, this does. A pound weight of silver in this, okay? So anyway, we get chatting to her, and very nice lady, and I said, I'm not sure, is that a salt? She said, oh, it is, she said, we were always told, she said, that's what it is, it's salt. You know, so, like, you can't argue with someone, you know what I mean? Like, it's their item, like, it's not for me to be telling her. So we chatted away for a few minutes, and I said to her, how much is it, like? Now, she had advertised it for quite a price, but she immediately, without I said anything about price, she immediately dropped the price considerably. And she said, will you take it now? Like, I said, of course, yes. I said, Joe, if we can agree a price. Like, so she dropped the price down, and so as soon as she did, I just said, yes, okay, we'll take it, all right? So we bought it and left, and had no idea what it was. I had looked at the hallmarks, like, you know, obviously, so it was sterling silver, it was English silver. Not only was it English, it was London. Like, you know what I mean? So I was quite happy, like, and the weight of it, my goodness, I couldn't believe the weight of it, like, when I picked it up, you know? So we were happy to pay the price we paid, and we left. So when we got home, obviously it was very late, like, we didn't get to this lady until it was very late in the night. Now, it was after 11 o'clock at night when we we got to her house, like, you know, and that she had to be up early, and you know what I mean, and so on. So we needed to get back. So I started doing my research, and I could not find what it was exactly. Like, I just couldn't. Like, I put in all sorts of stands. We thought maybe was it a potato ring, you know what I mean, a dish ring, you know, all sorts of permutations. We tried everything and everything and everything. So I'm just sitting there and I'm looking, like, and I'm just thinking, like, that, you know, carafe, like a wine, you know, like sort of thing, like decanter, like, you know, different things, you know. And so I'm trying all different things, and eventually I just said water jug on the stand. So up popped some images anyway on it, and there were actually ones that were made by a very famous silversmith, like in London, Paul Stower, okay, a couple. So I looked, went a little bit further. I kept going, because you, as you know, when you press on Google, you know, you can see more, and it takes you, leads you on into other places. Next thing up pops Royal Collection, okay, and a picture of a hot water jug and stand. So I click on it, and up comes, you know, 51587. That's the catalogue number in the Royal Collection, okay? Look that one up now, okay? 51587, Royal Collection. You just Google Royal Collection, it'll ask you what you want to, in the, you know what I mean, in search, put in catalogue number, and it'll bring it up, okay? And you'll see in more detail. Lo and behold, here's our stand, okay, with a jug sitting into it, okay? And it's a hot water jug, in the Royal Collection. So of course I click and I go reading. So I look at the hallmarks and read about their one. So exactly the same. William Bateman is the silversmith, okay, in London. Comes from a big family of silversmiths. His mother was a silversmith, his father, and so on, brothers and what have you, you know. So very, very well known silversmiths, okay. And it was made, this one is hallmarked for 1837. Now the fact that it's hallmarked for 1837 doesn't necessarily mean that it was made that year. It could have been made the year previous. In fact, it could have been made a number of years previous, and then but didn't get hallmarked until 1837, you know, because things have to go to be hallmarked, like, so, you know, but it was hallmarked in 1837. So the one that's in the Royal Collection, which is identical to this one, the stand, you'll see it, like, okay, and so on, was made by the same man, William Bateman, and it was acquired by William IV, okay, and there it is. Now we feel that this one was either a twin to it, or that it was for some other thing, because we're not actually 100% satisfied with this being a hot water jug, because, like, lighting this, like, I mean, could you imagine, like, look, here I am now trying to put this back in, all right? Like, now, so how does this work, like, if you're going to be lighting, you know, making this a hot water jug? So we have a sneaking suspicion that this is not a hot water jug. What's in here is in fact a drip tray for something or other, but we're not sure. Now, if any of you have any suggestions or anything else as to what it might be other than a hot water jug stand, we'd love to hear it, okay? But that's the story. Now, we didn't go by the other person's judgment. Do you understand me? And the lady advertised it as now she could have done her research just as we did. It was no big deal, like, to look up the hallmarks, like, they're there on the internet, you know. She could have done the same research that I done, like, and she could have discovered that it was a hot water jug stand, or whatever it turns out that it is in the end, you know. So you know, so therefore we benefit greatly. Like, I mean, this, I don't think we're ever, like, I don't think I or we here are ever going to own as rare a piece of silver as this, like, I mean, there just is not another one. I have searched and searched and searched, and I cannot find another one anywhere, like, matching. Now, hopefully somebody else maybe can, you know what I mean, and that they're out there. Now, William Bateman, there are water jugs available. I've looked them up and I've seen them and I've come on them, like, but the problem is, you see, it will have to fit very precisely in here, like, and the one that's in the pictures, as you'll see, is kind of squat because it's made to sit in here, like, you know. So again, you know, I'm not exactly 100% sure, but we have been in touch with the Royal Collection. The items in the Royal Collection are not all just sitting about, like, they're, if nothing else, they're locked away securely, like, and you know what I mean, they're not readily available, like, but also they're out around the various royal houses and things, and sometimes they're loaned out for exhibition and that. Like, so they have promised us that they'll try and get some more detailed photographs of their one for us, like, but they don't have any other photographs than what you'll see on the internet when you look up the Royal Collection. Okay, so that's about silver. I hope that was a bit informative, and I hope it wasn't too long-winded. Okay, and thank you very much for looking in. Remember to like, share and subscribe, and before you leave, press the little bell icon so that you'll be notified of our future uploads. Okay, so thank you very much for dropping by, and talk to you soon. Bye bye.